cold lager would be a very good
finally.
idea.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, pizza's on the way to Foodie Thursday. Kitchen's greatest hits on the way. Tonight's tale comes from Bruce. Thank you very much, Bruce, for today's tale. Smart speaker going Bruce's way. Can I say, before we start, not ideal if you're eating. Don't copy any of the behaviour in today's confession.
Understood.
Listening to your story about the pink fish the other week prompted me to write in, Father Simon. I've waited many years to claim forgiveness for a prank I played on my father. I suspect as your show goes out close to tea time, my plea may be rejected, but here goes. The year would have been around 1972 when I was living in Preston. Every summer, my dad would take me and my younger brother fishing for trout in the River Eden up in Appleby. On the occasion in question, I asked if I could take one of my schoolmates with us, and he agreed. Upon arrival, I'm feeling queasy already. Upon arrival, my dad would often leave us to our own devices and wander off to chat to various acquaintances he had known since his childhood, as both he and his father had lived in the area for decades.
Right.
Good parenting skills there.
Well done.
So we got on and fished. After a few hours on this particular trip, Dad returned and asked me and my pal if we'd like something to eat. Usually it was the little chef just up the road, which was always a treat. However, on this occasion, we were ushered to the local tea rooms just over the bridge in Appleby. My pal and myself must have been a pretty sorry sight, covered in mud and smelling of BO and fish slime.
Oh,
nice.
Oh.
Upon arrival, the tea rooms were fairly busy, but we stood in line in the hope that a table would become available. We must have been quite a sight and quite a noseful, to be honest. Now, okay, so we're taking a left turn here. At this point, my dad bent down to tie his shoelace, and my hand just slipped into my jacket pocket, where I realised I had at least a couple of dozen wriggly maggots still there. I don't really know what came over me, Father Simon, but I had this sudden urge to drop one into my dad's ear. So that is what I did. I honestly just thought it would be funny. But alas, it wasn't. The maggot didn't just drop out of his ear, it actually crawled into his ear.
Oh no.
My dad jumped to his feet and shouted various words in Anglo-Saxon and promptly kicked me up the backside. Needless to say, different times.
Yeah.
Needless to say, he wasn't very amused.
No.
And neither were the collection of mainly retired holidaymakers and local pensioners who witnessed the whole ordeal. My dad stormed off and we didn't see him again.
Oh my goodness.
We didn't see him again.
For at least an hour. Sorry, I had to turn the page.
Right, yeah.
Needless to say, no lunch was taken.
No.
Upon his return, his mood had somewhat lightened when he told my friend and myself that he'd just laid down on the grass bank somewhere with his ear to the ground, and although the noise inside his eardrum sounded like thunder, the maggot had found its way out, and so no damage had been done.
Okay.
This was jolly lucky, as I have since learnt about oral myiasis, normally caused by cockroaches. Do not look this up, but everything was fine in the end.
Okay.
Now, I can't ask forgiveness from my dad because he passed some time ago, and I suspect that most, if not all, of the locals and holidaymakers have probably gone the same way. But I do ask forgiveness from my old friend, who I suspect had never heard language like the type used by my dad ever in his young life. Sadly, I lost touch with him a long time ago when I moved to Banbury, just a few years after the event. Very specific there.
Yeah.
I also asked for forgiveness from myself as I was just young and stupid. Fishing is a serious business, and maggots are part of the earth's provision for us all and should not be treated lightly. Each maggot can be a blessing and a friend if you really try your hardest. If you and the collective,
Where's this coming from?
if you and your friends in the collective could find it in your hearts to forgive me, I would be extremely grateful. Thank you very much indeed, says Bruce. Well, it's a serious business. You don't want to mistreat a maggot.
No.
And you don't want to put one in anyone's ear. So, least of all your dad's. Sister Susie down the pub.
Well, I don't think I like this confession at all. It did really make me feel sick. And I just can't believe that you just... Why would you put a maggot in someone's ear? I know sometimes you can have that gut reaction where you just think, oh, I'll just do that. But that's awful. And also, why didn't they go to the hospital? Why did he just lie down by some grass? I don't like that. So I don't like your dad either, and I don't like you, Bruce, so I'm not going to forgive you. Sorry.
I think it's myiasis.
226
is the where you have a thing.
Right, I don't want to know.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Brother from another gutter.
I mean, it was clearly a moment of madness. The Appleby, gorgeous part of the world, by the way. Tea rooms, very, very nice. Yeah, just a moment of madness, really, wasn't it? And I'm not quite sure about the closing to that particular confession, which sounded like something from the Maggot Protection League. Unbelievable. unbelievable stuff.
Well, you have to appreciate all
Clearly,
of God's good creatures.
all of the nature.
All creatures,
yes.
great and small.
Great and very small, as it turned out. And it's good to see that the dad did take firm and decisive action with his maggots. So for that reason, on today of all days, I choose to forgive.
He lay on a grass bank until the maggot crawled out.
And it worked.
No.
Good for him. It worked, didn't it?
Don't try any of that. I
Definitely
mean,
worked.
that's very dangerous behaviour. Anyway.